You have come to this very special night that is the official launch for Ogilala, William Patrick Corgan. Ladies and gentlemen, so let's talk about the album.
Yes.
Ogilala, it comes out on the 13th of October. The album was recorded with Rick Rubin in Shangri-La Studios. You sent him some recordings or some demos?
I decided that I was either going to quit music or write a group of songs that I cared about, even if I stuck them in a box. I wrote the songs. I thought there's something here. I called Rick as a friend and said, can you recommend some bearded guy in Topanga Canyon who would understand what I'm doing? You know, I said like a patchouli producer, you know? And he said, kind of almost like a little offended, like, well, I'm interested in that. And I looked at the phone like, did he just say he's interested in what I'm doing? Because I wasn't calling him for that. And so he said, send me the music. I sent him the music. He said, it's fantastic. Keep writing. I wrote more. I sent him that. He liked it more. He said, let's record. It was completely like out of the sky. So I'm really, really grateful to Rick, because I was definitely down when I came to him, and he was the right person.
So when you got there with Rick, I mean, how does it work? I mean, does he get you to do a performance, and then you talk about the performance afterwards? Do you do a lot of talking beforehand?
Yeah, I went to him right on the first day. We sat and talked for a few minutes and kind of caught up. And I said, you do your thing, I'll stay out of your way, which I've, of course, never done that either. It just felt right to say, I'm going to follow your lead. And so 15 minutes later, I'm sitting in front of a microphone and I'm recording. It was like right in. And so that's why he sticks you in and goes, swim.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
And then you augmented those recordings?
Yes.
Afterwards?
In the beginning, it was kind of after a little bit of like an electronic thing, which was sort of strange, and it kind of went nowhere fast. So then he said, well, what would you do? And I said, well, I would do, and I sort of explained something akin to how I would orchestrate like a song like Tonight, Tonight or something. And he said, okay, try that. And I did it, and he was like, that's it. It made sense in my brain, like, oh, he likes that, and I just did that. And every time I did it, he was like, awesome.
And when you did that, you say you just did that, you played on a keyboard, these parts, or you...
The best way I can explain it is the melody is one line, the chords form other lines, and your job as an orchestrator is to find spaces that don't, kill the silence and the space in the track, but sort of augment it in almost like a classical way. And I have no training. I'm serious. I really don't even know what I'm doing.
You're doing pretty well.
For me, it's just strictly like, it's just all melodies in my head. It's like they just spin in my head like a weird kaleidoscope.
Tell us about Aeronaut, the song Aeronaut, because that's the first taste we've had of this new album. And when we were chatting the other day, you were explaining how, in your head, it probably wouldn't have been on the album. You wrote this song.
Oh, yeah.
And the context of writing that and how that came about.
I was wandering around America, staying at the lodge. My partner and my child are with me, and I'm sitting there just bored playing the guitar. And I felt inspired to write a song for my son. I've only written one song for him so far, and I wrote the song like almost like a jaunty English dance hall tune, like tumbling down the middle, the world survives. Look out, son, the air's alive. Call it ether, elemental eye. Ooh, da da. Like almost like a Paul McCartney jokey song or something, right? And didn't think anything of it, but decided even the day I did it to send it to Rick, I was like, probably not. Well, I should trust him. Put it on there. So when we're recording, we went through all the songs, and he goes, let's do that one. And I thought he was joking. And he was like, just trust me on it. And so within a half an hour, I'm playing it's like a slow Beatle ballad or something, and it was like, this is like a song I didn't even know I had, and I wrote it. So that's all Rick.
Yeah.
That's magical. I mean, that's why he's that guy. He heard something I would have never heard in a million years.
I wanted to ask you about instruments. Am I right in thinking that you wrote the songs for this new record all on Yamaha guitars?
Yeah.
And you've had this relationship with Yamaha now for a few years. You did a tour where you only used Yamaha guitars. So how did that come about, and how does that work?
Well, quickly put, of all the instrument technologies that we have in the world, for whatever reason, the acoustic has been the thing that suffered the most. And so starting all the way back in the early 90s when we would tour in like Siamese Dream and I would play something like Disarm, the guitar would sound awful. When Yamaha brought me this guitar that I use, and I hit it and it was like, wait, guitars aren't, this isn't supposed to sound like this. No one had ever, in my estimation, made a guitar that you just plug in and it sounds the way a guitar is supposed to sound on stage. They're truly committed to, like, anybody has access to these technologies. And I told a story today, which I think would illustrate that. It's the guitar that became like the guitar for Siamese Dream and Melancholy. I mean, I bought that off the wall, and that guitar changed my life. And I believe every musician should have access. I mean, all these guitars here are like right off the wall, and I play them and they all sound the same because that's the level of manufacture that they provide. And what I really like, because I've dealt with the biggest manufacturers in the world and I have a negative opinion of most of them, is they're no, it's true, because they have this weird thing of like, you know, it's like the record labels. It's like, you know, we're the record label, bow down. It's like, it's always about the artist. And I've really found with Yamaha, it really is artist directed. And I've been very, very happy with that. So
what's the state of play with the Smashing Pumpkins at the moment?
It's not up for me to decide, you know. I'm keen to do a tour. It would be great.
Yeah.
I think it's time, you know. We're still young enough to get it done. It's very aggressive music. It's not for the faint of heart. There's certainly some good will there and some good vibes, so I'm hopeful, but you know, it's the Smashing Pumpkins. There's no predicting that. But I think there's a way to do it where it feels right and it balances the past, present, and the future. And I personally, if we do start playing together again on stage, I really want us to make new music. I'm really intent on that because I think that's what we're all here for. You know?
Excellent. Thanks so much for allowing us in
Oh, thank
today.
you. I really appreciate it.
I think a nice round of applause, please, for Billy Corgan.